I'm Bert Tenzer.
I'm Bella Shaw.
I'm Doug Llewellyn.
I'm William Shatner, and this is Heartbeat of America. Our show focuses on corporate America, its stories, its drama, its breakthroughs. We'll be going out today to report on an organization that is impacting our lives and shaping our future. An organization that truly is the heartbeat of America.
In the 20th century, William Shatner took us off on a voyage into the universe to experience what life is like on other planets. But now, here in the 21st century, he is back to explore what life is like right here on our own planet. This is all part of a new series we call Keeping America Strong. And part of keeping America strong lies in protecting the most important asset for most Americans, and that, of course, is the cash and the wealth that they have created over the years. How do we protect it, and how do we make it grow? That is one of the biggest concerns of facing Americans today. And to achieve that in this complex world of ours is really no easy task. You know, the media hits you with advice that is often derived from companies trying to sell their financial products to you. And everyday people, from hairdressers to accountants, give you financial tips without any research or knowledge to back those tips up. So where do you go for the right answers, and who do you trust? What do you believe? For most Americans, dealing with all of this is about as much fun as dieting, exercising, and dentistry. Most simply don't want to spend too much time to find the right answers. But one thing is certain. Help is needed, and our guest today is providing that help with financial plans that include everything from car insurance to investments to home equity to complete blueprints for financial protection and growth. And we're about to find out just how he goes about doing it. I'd like you to meet him now. He is the president of a company called Heckman Financial and Insurance Services. They are located in San Jose, California, in the Silicon Valley. And he is, as I say, the president of the company. His name is Eric Heckman. He is, by the way, a registered investment advisor and also a certified financial planner. Eric, welcome. Nice to have you here.
Thanks a lot, Doug.
Let me ask you a question from your perspective, and you see people all of the time. What are the big problems that so many people face in this day and age trying to, plan and figure out how they're going to hold on to what they have, financially speaking?
Well, there's several issues. One, as you just mentioned, is the media contains a lot of misinformation, a lot of generic advice out there, which may or may not pertain to them, but they think it may.
Right.
The second one is also people just lack the time to go out there and do something with their money. They've got families, they've got job stresses, other things that are going on, so they don't take the time out to actually sit down and go over all this.
And what about the smarts? Do most people on their own have the smarts to really know what they should be doing?
Most of my clients say that that they know they could do this probably on their own, but they're either just disinterested. They don't have the time to do all of it, or right. Like in the late 90s, before the stock market crashed there, a lot of people like to do the investing part, but they ignore the rest of their financial plan. So sometimes people will like to do a part, and most people, I think, basically know what they kind of should be doing, but they also don't know which one to trust, which answer is the right way, and they don't have a way to prove which way is the best way to do it.
All right, so the key is you are a registered investment advisor. Define that for me.
Registered investment advisor just means somebody who's authorized through in the state of California, actually authorized through the Department of Corporations to provide financial planning advice, and also be able to charge fees for their service and also manage their money. So what we do is we look at everything that they've got going on, not just their investments, because that's what a lot of brokerage houses, banks, insurance companies, they'll just look at one piece of the puzzle, but we try to look at everything all at once.
All right. You're also, by the way, a certified financial planner. What does that mean?
This is just another designation of meaning you've taken so many classes and also passed a pretty rigorous test to be able to prove that you actually have the knowledge to work in this profession.
Okay. What do you find brings most people to come to see you?
Usually it's that they finally have had some sort of event. Sometimes it's a loved one passing away. Often now, more often is becoming their parents have passed away, left some money behind, or left a wreck of a financial mess behind right. that they have to help clean up, and they don't want their situation to be the same. Sometimes just job changes, different things, have a baby, buy a new house. Certain things trigger a time for people to say, yes, it's finally time for me to sit down and actually kind of get organized.
At what point in someone's life is it most advantageous for them to seek the advice of someone like you?
Ideally, probably somebody actually in their 20s when they just first start getting out. I mean, a lot of people tell young people to put all their money in a 401k. That's what most of the press says. But if you talk about somebody who's going to put their money away that they can't touch for 30 years, I find by the time they're 30, they've already rated their 401k to buy a house or do something else. So if they started their plan then, you've got time on your side, you've got enough distance to the retirement or to your other financial goals that you can get there quicker. But most of my clients are typically late 30s, early 40s, and sometimes even 50s.
Well, I mean, there are various segments of society that, as I understand it, deal with people in your category, people, financial advisors. They're the seniors. Mm-hmm. They have their own problems, and their own special things that you have to do to help them. Then there are the so-called the baby boomers, which are getting older and older as we go along. Let's focus on seniors. Do you deal with seniors a lot?
Yeah.
And really, what qualifies a senior? Is that someone who is already retired or approaching it?
Well, the new term we use mostly is retirees.
So they have retired.
Lots of times they may be 58 and be a retiree. It's more.
But also they could be 75. And
exactly. Yeah, or even 85. Or I met with somebody recently that was 93, and you wouldn't have guessed her for over 60. So I mean, people are living a lot longer now.
Right.
And that's one issue: is how do you make that money stretch? How do you make sure it's always going to be there? Because a lot of people take.
So let's deal with these segments. So let's talk about seniors first. Mm-hmm. What's their biggest concern?
Probably the number one is just not losing any money and
not
making
losing, or is it outliving their money?
Well, outliving. Yeah, it's a I don't know which one comes first in their mind, but typically it's they don't want to outlive it, and they also don't want to lose it. Especially a lot of them had money in the market, lost a bunch.
Right.
Now they realize that they've got to shelter what they've got left because they're not going to go back to work. They don't want to be going back to some part-time job because they want to go off and travel. They want to go do stuff fun, and so that's one big issue is when we show people how they can kind of safely earn more interest, with a safe manner and not have to take all the risk.
All right, let's talk about what you do with a client like that when they come in. I know that you have what you call a model worksheet that you work with them. This is kind of an example. I don't know if it really shows up here, but there are all kinds of categories in here that you have to fill out. Okay, right. And I'll just describe. I mean, they ask for how much money you have in savings, what do you have in savings accounts, what do you have invested. So by the time you finish filling this form out, I guess this gives you a pretty complete financial picture of where they are, right?
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about that is people are always more visual than they are, by learning by auditory or other methods. So having one picture of your entire financial plan, not having a big binder or anything, shows you exactly where your money is and where you're putting your money.
Do you find most people, especially seniors, really know how much money they have? Are they pretty sharp on that area, or oftentimes not?
Sometimes they are, but lots of times they'll know exactly how much is in their checking account. They'll know how much is in their savings. But their investments, they probably lots of times don't even pay attention too much. It's just what they see more often. They don't think of certain areas as much. So one of the things we do is make sure that they've got everything organized. Make sure they have it. Lots of times they'll have a living trust or something like that. They won't have assets titled in the trust, which makes it useless. So the one big thing is just organizing everything first. And then the second step is, all right, how can we make this easier, simpler, and make sure it keeps growing, make sure their wealth is protected?
And what is your key goal there? Is it helping them to make sure they're not overpaying on taxes, or how to lower the taxes that they pay? Do you go into that with them?
Yeah, we have actually some special software that we use just to show them how, if they reposition some assets, it may save them a lot on taxes. Because of the worst part about retirees now, if once you start turning 62 and you get your Social Security check, get happy you're finally getting that money you paid into taxes back, and then you find out 85% of it may be taxed again. So you're getting taxed on your taxes. So are there ways to kind of help avoid paying taxes on that? Oh, there's lots of ways, yeah. It just depends on how you're structuring your income, how you're getting money. So lots of times by just shifting from one asset to another asset and a different way of getting that income, you can instantly lower your taxes. So it's something that you really have to sit down and look at and evaluate on a case-by-case basis, I guess. Yeah, right? Exactly. I mean, like stuff like money markets and CDs and savings accounts, that all generates lots of taxable income. So do you recommend against